Welcome everyone, this is Pine Leaf Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin.
Hi.
Ariandis.
Hey everybody.
Maven.
Hey y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
And this week we are going to begin with a little patch update 21.2.3.
Yeah, you're not kidding about the little part.
Yes.
Yes, fortunately it did not take long to patch.
And anything in there that you found interesting, even though it was just a little one? I know, not particularly.
I don't remember what they did.
I don't really remember, and I don't feel like looking right this
They
second.
were
in the middle of trying to kill Dunlendings.
Anyway, it was just little changes to loot and things that happen in quests and stuff like that. Things like drops and rare spawns have been added to Aglamak and Doramarth, for example.
Oh, and I think isn't this the one where they said they dialed back on
Dialed back on what?
They dialed back on what?
They dialed back on some of the bosses in the 6-man
Yes.
damage. Yeah.
It says Thracnals and Flame Spirits area of effect attacks have had their damage lowered.
Yay!
And that the boss fight gates should now always reopen when the fight resets.
That's important.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And some of the monster skills were adjusted to affect Lore Master and Captain Pets.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was kind of small. There wasn't a whole lot of other stuff, I think.
Ooh. This is kind of cool. All the bosses in the Tier 2 Dungeons of Narraband and Tier 2 Court of Saragast instances have an increased chance of dropping incomparable gear.
Ooh.
I mean, it doesn't say how much they increased it by, but it's increased.
All right, whatever that brings you.
Right. But you have to do it at 115, so.
Well, yeah, or else you'd probably get gear for 105
Yeah,
or
105
something.
incomparable gear.
Hey, that could be useful. It just probably would be bound to you and not able to be
That's
ashed.
right. That's true.
Part of the way down it says some Gorgoroth swarm and basic mobs were inadvertently dropping loot, which has been removed. Can you just see that? Whoops, I didn't mean to drop that. Can I get that back?
Oh boy. In other words, they were dropping too much loot.
Yeah. Or dropping loot, period.
All right. And probably a little bit more interesting is they had another build for Bullroar on getting ready for 21.3 for additional testing on the raid. The second boss is still not quite ready yet, but they're fixing bugs on the stuff that gets you up to that point. And one of the little things they had in there was that they made some tweaks to the let's see, to that festival dress, that fish scale dress from the fall festival. And
The leaf mail?
The leaf mail thing. And I was comparing that. It said minor texture adjustments have been made to the autumn leaf mail. If those minor texture adjustments affected the Hobbit version of it, I could not tell the difference. And I was comparing the
I wonder what they did.
version to the live version, and I could not tell the difference. It might have done it too when the taller races or something like that. But from what I could see, it was very minor adjustments, and I don't know on that matter. Looks like they changed the music for the credits.
They did?
The music is now updated to Ever On.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
And of course, this is on Bullroars, not yet on live. Oh, and they will be adding the 2017 Festival Steed Deed, which I suppose that once you get all the mounts there, they could create the deed for it. Not too much yet, but the idea there is making little steps in order to get everything ready for 21.3, which I presume is going to be in a few weeks before that's going to be ready, since they still have 2 more bosses to add to the raid, right?
At least.
One other thing that they were working on Bullroar was tweaking monster player stats.
Oh, yes, the monsters.
By tweaking, you mean they broke them completely?
Yeah, I believe that is what the dev posted earlier this week.
Yeah,
was that
completely broken.
You should expect them to be completely broken, but that's because they're trying to work on them, and they had to
strip them down to the basics, basically, so that they could
rework all the percentages.
They took it all apart so they could try and put them back together in a fashion that maybe wouldn't suck.
Right.
And what's worse is it sounds like in the broken state, it's in better shape than the current live version. I got the impression based on the feedback.
Hey, that's not bad. That means they're going in the right direction anyway.
Jeez.
It does note, though, this is not done and needs your feedback. So if you are very interested in this, you should be paying attention and give them feedback, please. If you're not very interested in it, then that's okay, too.
Then don't do it.
Right. Then be quiet and stay out of it and let the people who are really interested in PvP do it.
That's right.
So I should be quiet on this now. And
whatever you do, don't get into the middle of the PvP players. Just don't do it.
Oh, yeah, just don't do it.
Especially when things come down to a tussle, they're probably better at it than you are.
Probably.
But let's head into the next little bit of news, and that is the Mordor soundtrack is now available.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Yay! I may have listened to the Barad-dûr track about 50 times on Wednesday and Thursday.
Ah.
Only maybe, though. She said
Only maybe. Only maybe.
And where can we get this?
Several places, actually. It is, let's see. What did I do with that article?
There's an official site. There's the Amazon MP3 and on iTunes. If you go to the LOTRO player site and find the article, all the links are at the bottom.
And it will be linked in the show notes as well.
Yes.
And if you use the Amazon link, it is our affiliate link, so using the link from the LOTRO Players article will actually help support LOTRO Players.
Which is always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Yes, it helps pay our salaries. Oh, sorry.
we get a salary?
I was about to say, what is this?
Maven, you've been holding out on us.
Yeah, I wish. No, we just do it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Then let's head into the beacon for this week, where we have this rather fiery spirit here on the top cover.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
That's one of the bosses from the Six Man, isn't it? Or one of the things from the Six Man?
Let me look. I didn't look.
That corridor definitely looks like the floor that's on fire in the Six Man.
I was just in Airband.
Yes, it is.
It's reminding me of Nairband, too.
It is Nair. That's what it is. The Six Man is Nairband. Yeah.
Oh, the Six Man is Nairband. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Very definitely Nairband.
Yeah. They've got, and they hit hard and fire damage, and it's just not fun. And I mean, it's fun. It's fun, but it's not fun.
No, it's really not.
That was the unfinished version.
Yes.
I'm
Venomar.
not in a hurry to go find the finished version.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we figured we're never going to be able to talk you into going on that again.
Okay.
Maybe when she's 120.
Well, we can always set it at, well, we did set it at 105 before, didn't we? Oh.
Yeah,
but they changed it to be better at 105.
They took it back down. Yeah, but still. We'll take her sometime when she's been partying or something, and we can get her to do it.
New Year's Eve, there you go.
There
Yes.
you go. There you
That may be a possibility. All right. Yes. Yes. Vanamar, a kinship on Laurelin, is holding their 9th Great Elven Ball on November 14th. You could check the link on the beacon in order to tell you how to get to that annual event. Of course, it does help if you have characters on Laurelin.
Do they have to be elves? I guess they have to be elves, huh?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Or is it just that elves are
Do you have to-
like hosting it, and they'll put up with other
Well,
races?
I see a screenshot from a previous year, and it looks like I see something that looks like a couple of hobbits there.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you necessarily have to be an elf. You just have to behave. Because
Elfish.
it's a role play event, so you have to find a reason for your character to be invited
yeah.
to an Elven Ball.
Gosh,
So you don't.
being a hobbit at an elf event, that's tough.
Yeah,
That's a lot of pressure on
you have to
the
come up
hobbit.
with a reason of why your hobbit would be there.
Yeah.
Okay, now my question is, how do they manage to sync up like this? Look at some of the screenshots here.
Maybe they
What,
count
sync
down
up the
start.
dancing?
I mean, an entire line. When you're doing an entire line together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen that. A couple of years ago, I was at one of the roleplay events in Rivendell. It was a winter thing on Landreval, and they had somebody who was counting it down.
Okay.
It was really cool, actually. That was when I first learned that the elven dances are actually line dances.
All right. I mean, it looks like, because the way they're doing this in there and they're all lined up like this, it looks like something from a country dance. I could just imagine there's a caller up there telling you to, side your partner and turn single. And we also have our weekly comment. And what is your current character goal?
Ooh.
That depends
Which
on my current character.
What do you mean by current? What is it meant by current character?
Yeah, that is a bit of a tricky question.
My current character goal is 2 more. Because I still need to buy 2 more character slots on Landreval.
Ooh, I like that kind of goal.
And then,
Yeah.
obviously, I have to put characters in those slots. Don't you take my kills, you stupid pew-pew.
As you can tell, Terry is multitasking.
Is it another player? Another player?
Yes,
pew-pew?
a high elf pew-pew.
High elf pew-pews are the worst.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna argue.
In the forums, I believe it's Gump's gang. He says world domination ... of the pie
World
eating contest.
domination. The pie eating contest.
The pie eating contest.
Obviously a hobbit.
Yes, so they all have their little. I would say that my current goal is to get through. I want to get through the allegiance thing for Gondor and for the hobbits. I'm getting close to finishing the hobbits, and I would like to finish that for Gondor also. Maybe someday I'll get around to the dwarf and the elf version, but right now those are to be able to get enough allegiance points so that I could finish those 2.
If you are talking about the character that I currently happen to be on, which is my warden who's in Dunland, it's to get her Warsteed, because she's coming up on Warsteed.
Oh, so's mine.
Also-
Mine's in Langhold right now.
Kill this pew-pew.
The one you're fighting,
no,
or the elf?
This is the one that's been shooting at me from across the fire.
Ah,
How unkind of it. Uncouth.
Stupid Dunlanding pew-pews.
well, yes. Pew-pews are always uncouth, aren't they?
They must die.
Well, only the enemy pew-pews.
Oh,
If they're
okay.
friend pew-pews, then it's like they're the best things in the whole world.
Yeah.
Then, and like the beacons, pledges allegiance to the brag.
Jeez.
Sorry, I'm not too sure about that. And then on our screenshot of the week, Daglier grabs a screenshot of the last homely house at night.
Ooh, good shot.
That one looks better if you expand it. Because when it's small, it's saying, "Oh, where is it at?"
Mm-hmm.
But when you
It's
expand
in the
it,
valley
it's
somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And I like how he got he or she, excuse me, got the moon in the background too, kind of peeking out over the mountains. That's cool.
peeking out over the mountains. Yes. Then with that, let's head in and find out what's on sale this week.
Let's see. This week's free sample is Regeneration Food Times 1 with the coupon code DELICIOUS now through November 9th.
Is that crams?
Probably. Which is not delicious. So
Though crams are still the best cooked food in game.
Yeah. Also, 25% off select war steeds, riding skills. Now's the time to get your journeyman riding for the account. Also, select mounts and movement speed buffs, which is that's the other reason I want to get Malheur War Steed, is because if I'm going to get War Steed customization stuff, it's going to be when War Steed customization stuff is on sale, which I don't think it is, but I might get her own steed. I haven't decided yet.
Then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with the Norbog News issue number 2, where the World Wildlife Fund has extended festival items. Apparently, the World Wildlife Fund is telling us.
Yes, the World Wildlife Fund.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and it looks like it's a bog lurker is their mascot.
Yeah, that does look like a bog lurker. Or actually, it's probably technically a bog guardian, seeing how
That and the Fangorn Safety Committee. That's the other little icon.
Yeah.
It just made me giggle.
And they have their goal of trying to protect the wildlife, but apparently the elves are stepping down from the responsibility of controlling it, because apparently they're all getting ready to sail off.
God, silly elves.
Yeah. Oh well. Now that
That's why the Fangorn Safety Committee is stepping up.
Supporting Ents together.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that they registered their trademarks.
Yes.
So we should keep that in mind. Then let's head into our new player question. And Arienda, what's your question this week?
This week was just something that I was curious about. I have a tendency to purchase too many milestones.
Oops.
Oh, that's not possible. You cannot possibly purchase too many.
I thought she was going to say owner hunter.
I do. I have every milestone on my hunter. It's hilarious.
What?
Well, I didn't know. I was, running around Middle Earth with no mentor, and I just kept buying milestones. And then when I got my first guide, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, and my question was, are there any kind of strategies or recommendations for places, to place milestones? Like, if you don't want to be a milestone fanatic like me, what are some key places that you should get milestones for?
What? Sorry.
Oh, well, I'll just off time. Hobbiton, there's ones that I never get rid of. Hobbiton is one, because there's so many festival activities that, revolve around the party tree and whatnot. that I always find I use, Hobbiton, because you can get to buy water, Farmers Festival, all that stuff. So that's one. Tarman Sursa is one. If you do end up doing Angmar and you end up in Tarman Sursa, which is, how you get to Karn Doom and Urugarth, that's a really useful milestone to have. And there's a summoning horn there. So if you've got it and you're with some folks, you can get to it. And I mean, I still, even on my level cap characters, I haven't gotten rid of that one. Rivendell is good, but I think all of us normally don't we usually get a return or a guide to Rivendell, return to Rivendell?
You can buy it from the store cheaper than you can buy a milestone.
Right. And actually, that's probably true of a lot of, like, the main places to go, like Galtrev and, like, main hubs. You can buy them at the store, right?
I think a lot of the later ones you can earn as well. I tend to keep a milestone to someplace where I'm questing that doesn't have an easy, stable return to someplace where I can get back to. Like, with Reputation, you can get a port back to Bree or Thorns Hall, or you could, if you don't tell Terry especially, buy a guide to Lalia's Market from Lalia for 3 mithril coins. Can get you back to Bree, in the center of Bree. Where, from whence you can quickly take a Stable Master to Rivendell. Or quick travel by Gandalf.
Yes.
If you remember to cancel the quest.
Yes. But with Bree, you could just get rep anyway without worrying
you can
about
get the rep.
Raleigh, right?
Yeah, without, it's not too bad.
Anyway, I tend to make sure that I get those rep places that I want, that I can get rep places for, and then just keep my milestone where I'm actually questing so that when I'm ready to turn in quests, I can milestone back. Especially if I fought through a ton of things that I don't have time to fight back through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I normally just keep 1 milestone. I think I have 2, maybe 3 characters that have more than 1 milestone. One of them I think might be Orning, which has quite a set of them, and I essentially just put them at major locations where I had been questing that are useful hubs, and I usually had the 2 most recent places where I've been questing, generally always had one.
Yeah, I tend to do that with my more recent alts, is I'll keep kind of a couple of rolling milestones. So I'll use them, as when I've left a region I don't need it anymore, then I'll use it in the next region. Kind of saves some money.
Yeah, when I was a lower level, I always kept 1 in Bree, and then I realized that you could get a return to Bree with rep, and so then that one became a rolling milestone for me. And my hunters are always rolling milestones because they don't have any need to keep it in one place.
Yeah. The hunters usually have easy ways to get around.
And wardens.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor.
It's probably not going to surprise anybody to hear that I have never, ever, ever, on even 1 character ever, bought a milestone. I have 1 milestone per character, and that's it.
Do you keep it set in one place, or do you change it as you quest?
Depends on the character. Some characters will keep it in Bree. Usually I keep it in Bree until I start getting into places beyond where it's easier to get out of. Lately I've been setting Terry's as we go along. Of course, Terry has no need for milestones anyway, because Terry tends to travel in company with hunters.
Yeah, it's one way around it.
And then I also generally make sure that I'm getting the rep to get the returns that way. And those I make frequently use of.
When do you can get 1 for Oscar Ruth for rep and Bree and Thorns Hall, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's the next one you can get for rep?
Stangard, I think.
No, there's one from
Stangard.
Mirkwood.
There
is one
there?
for Mirkwood.
Okay, I know there's a guide. So there's one in Mirkwood. And Stangard. Okay,
Yeah, I think Stangard's about where it becomes standard operation.
that makes sense.
Any other opinions on the matter? Then let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Terry Adwin, what were you up to?
Well, my first actual highlight isn't technically a game highlight. I got a rock.
Oh,
Yay! Happy Halloween or something.
Belated birthday.
Belated
Actually,
birthday.
Very belated birthday.
I got very belated because my birthday was in June, but that's okay. I got a brick. I got a painted brick from Maven, which has a painting of a dwarf on it, and he's holding a sword, and his little speech banner says "Pew pews must die," and it's awesome. For those who are curious, you can check the show notes because I linked under I Got a Rock. I linked it to the Twitter post where I posted pictures.
Just as an explanation to folks, I actually do sort of like art bricks. The property that I live on has a lot of, like buildings that have been torn down and whatnot. And I've got these like piles of bricks, and one day I thought, I could do something with those. So I do I make books. I have like all of the Tolkien books as bricks. I have dragons and ice, all kinds of stuff. So when it was Terry's birthday a long time ago, I thought I should make her. I need to make her a Pew Pews Must Die brick. So that's where that came from.
And it looks really good. You guys need to check it out.
Yeah, I did not.
Happy birthday,
post,
Terry.
I did not post a picture of the return, the little thing that shows how much it costs to send me the brick.
Yeah, one of those, if it fits, it ships. But the bummer is it doesn't fit in the smallest box. Box. Well, anyway.
Yeah, and then I had to explain to my family why I was getting a brick.
Yeah, your family probably thought that was really...
They're like, why did somebody send you a brick? And then I had to explain the whole Pew Pews Must Die thing, and they still don't get it, but...
They just looked at you weird, huh?
Yeah.
You have strange friends. You have really strange friends.
Yeah, I think they concluded that a long time ago. Well, the ones that admit that they exist, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty sure you guys were all imaginary anyway, so...
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's pretty good when imaginary friends can manage to send you a brick.
Send you a rock.
Right?
Yeah. Anything else you do?
My Warden Malethriel, as people have probably heard through the podcast, is in Dunland currently. She's level 74, coming up on level 75, so she's close to getting her war steed. But I think I have managed to finally filter out all of the Devodiad stuff, so I will never have to hear it again on any of. And I made sure to do that account wide, so I don't have to hear it again, ever. And yeah, she finished out the stuff in the Dunbog and moved on to the Barnavon mine. And that was a lot of fun, going through the mine and using Exaltation of Battle, because I would queue it up beforehand and go running down the hallway and gather up 3 or 4 packs of buggins and just mow them all down between that and Desolation. And then I would rescue the guys and run after them as they're whining back through on their way, because they're thinking somebody's going to attack them, and it's like, I've already killed everybody. You guys can just go. What was the other thing on my list? Oh yeah, Sarissa ran around in Ered Luin. I don't spend a lot of time in Ered Luin generally, but LOTRO Family screenshot competition this week was Ered Luin, so I was looking for a not idyllic elf place to take a screenshot in Ered Luin, and ended up back where you have the tutorial, actually, only, after the tutorial. So, the ruins of, whatever the name of that elf village is that I'm drawing a blank on right now.
I thought you were going to go to the spider area.
No. Sarissa's not really a fan of spiders. I mean, she can sneak around them just fine, but I wasn't. It's a little out of the way, and she was already in Thorns Hall anyway, because she was running Aerial Association stuff. Maven, what were you up to this week?
Oh my Gondaman. So I scrated with Ploy last night, and we started off doing the Defense of the Prancing Pony. And when I left to go to before the next scrade started, I went to the Hobbit Allegiance Hall, and there was a little Hobbit, Sans Winda, standing right there, and we're like, "Oh, hi, I'm Scrady. You want to come join us?" So she's like, "Sure." So she joined us. So then we tried Fort of Brunnen, those twins.
Oh boy.
Tried was the key word.
Died, and we're like, forget it. Never. Oh, we were doing tier 3 also. So we were doing tier 3 Scrades. The payoff was nice. I mean, if we succeeded, we got nice marks and dice. And then we did, what did we do? We did Storm and Methodress, which was interesting because I'd never done, of course, a Scrade Storm Methodress. And I don't know if it's the tier 3 that changes it or not, but, the end fight is different than what I'm used to.
I don't think it changes between tiers that I know.
It doesn't change between tiers, so it's the number, right? The number and the group.
Yeah, that's based on the size.
Yeah. So we had the 3 drakes, instead of the one big one that start off the fight, and then you have the big one that lands on the house, and then you got the drakelings and the drummers, and but it was fine because there was, and also there was an abundance of pew-pews, so that was like awesome. And then to finish off the night, we did Siege of Gondaman. Oh my Gondaman! I mean, I have done this skirmish before, but I guess with a Scrade, they add a lot more, rounds. I'm telling you, Sans can back me up. I thought we were just in skirmish hell. We were, for eternity, we were going to be going south, northwest. I mean, it never ended. It was like every time we did another one, I'm like, because we did a bunch, right? And I'm like, okay, this is about the time we need to go up the stairs. It just kept going on and on. Did you think, Sans? I mean, it was like, oh my God.
It does not change the number.
Oh my God. Oh, it did. I swear there were more.
It does not. I could sometimes feel like they changed
Maybe they changed the amount of mobs or the difficulty or something.
I don't know.
But
I mean, I've done it. I've done it 3-man and I've done it 6-man. I've done it solo, but
yes,
I have never run around as much as I have. Oh
I have done it tier 3 raid before, and I know that the number doesn't change, but I think you just got today we are going to change it every single time, randomizer.
Well, no, actually we didn't, because we stayed north, right? Like the first 3 or 4
came to the north, but then it was southwest, north, southwest, west.
Well, and I mean, I get that, because I've done it before, so I knew what to expect, but it just was like, oh my God, this is just going on and on and on. I mean, by the time we finally finished, they said it's time to go upstairs. I was like, oh, thank God.
Well,
it didn't help that it was getting later either, and we had been raiding for a while.
We had been raiding, yeah, and it was late. And I mean, I was just like on automatic, clicking my cycle, because it was just like, oh, is this ever going to end?
Anyway, this was targeting through the raid assist. I was like, I hope he's targeting the right person, because I can push buttons.
But it was fun because, and also I'm trying to think, because I don't think in the 6th man you have the 2 dragons at the end, right, either.
No, you don't. It's only in the raid.
Yeah, so with the 2 dragons in the end. And that was pretty cool too. So it was really interesting to see it, the differences at the 12 man. So that was interesting, but oh my goodness. It's like the next time they say, what do we want to do? It's like, don't do that one.
Yeah. I know that the person who used to lead the Scrades on Crick Hollow, she would, in a way, she didn't like doing Gondaman, but she needs to get those lizards, those flesh gorgers, and flesh gorgers, and they only appear in a few of the skirmishes.
Oh, do they really?
Is Gondaman?
What is Gondaman? Because we did have at least one. I remember.
Yes, but the only other 2 that I'm 100% sure that they appear in are Rescue at Nurzgashu, which is, I don't want to do that in a raid.
What was that noise?
And,
I mean, that's got to be in a raid. That's got to be really hard.
Well, if you do it for Rescue at Nurzgashu, I maybe in a duo you could, because you'll get flesh quarters there in a duo anyway. And the other is Fort of Brunnen is the other one I'm 100% sure that I've seen them in. Yeah, so you could just imagine trying to do those. So therefore, Gondaman is actually the most tolerable of the raids.
Though I think...
Yeah?
No, you're right. That's probably the most tolerable of the raids. Go ahead and finish your sentence, and then I'll finish what I was saying.
I think I was about to finish up as it was.
Sorry, finally. I was just gonna say, I think the other reason that I felt like it was dragging was because, as a pew-pew, I was in the back, and pretty much all I could see... We must have had, 2 lore masters and at least a runekeeper with us?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
So, I could see flames, and I couldn't tell if they were friendly or not until I ran through them. And I could see, the snow type effect, and blue names coming in and out of focus.
Didn't at one point you said you were so lagged? You said you were so lagged that every single skill on your bar had dotted lines around it?
Yeah, because I just kept clicking them because I was hoping they would do something eventually.
Anyway, it was fun, but boy, I'll tell you that thing. And actually, I think all of us felt that way because at the end we were like, okay, we're gone. Bye, everybody. It's like the whole group just broke up after that one. But I didn't look at my list, but I'm sure I've got lots of marks and medallions now as a result. I also ran the new 6-man and finished it. This is before the upgrade, so we did it with the old, the previous ones. It was interesting. I mean, there was a lot of death, because you're trying to sort of feel your way through it and whatnot. And that burning floor is a real challenge. But it was nice to actually have. We had tried it the week before and hadn't finished it all the way, so this was nice that we actually finished it. It seems like I got something cool. I got some of those fragments, that are crafting mats, which is kind of nice. And then I acted as a sort of guide through portions of the Haunted Burrow for Corey and his son. So Corey Olsen and his youngest son wanted to go through the Haunted Burrow. So I had warned him ahead of time. I said, listen, I will volunteer. I won't lead you, all the way through, but I'll just kind of shadow you. So if problem or you're just getting frustrated, I'll show you how to do it. And he told me later, he said it wasn't so much himself, he said he could have probably figured it out. It's just his son kept wandering off. So it was like, where'd you go? And then of course some of the stuff was timed. They tried the riddle thing, the riddle in a bottle, and it's timed,
Yeah.
So Matthias is wandering off down other corridors and stuff with his shields on, and Corey's and then of course they immediately have tried to go through the door that they knew would lead to the next wing, which isn't the right door, right? And they're not in my kin, so they couldn't see, the kin, my name in turquoise. So I'm jumping up and down, trying to get them to go. I waited a while, and then I tried to get their attention to get them to go down the right door. So, but it was fun. They actually never did finish doing the riddle one. I think they tried it 2 or 3 times, but now I got him far enough to now where he should know where all the doors are where he can do it. But anyway, they had a good time. It was, they solved the riddles together and ran around, and I sent his son a little gourd. So, because he was kind of excited about being able to get that, but he didn't have enough tokens to do it. So that was fun. So that was kind of cool. It was a nice way to kind of round out the Haunted Burrow for the year. Arendis, how about you?
Well, my week was significantly less fun than the one that you guys had. I had a lot of real life stuff going on, so I actually couldn't touch the game. But Terry mentioned LOTRO Family earlier, and I wanted to give a quick little shout out to them. They are a community. It's a Twitter account that's focusing on promoting community events and helping other people out. And when they get to 1,000 followers, they're going to give out a 1,000-point LOTRO point giveaway. So right now they're at about 892. So once they get to 1,000 followers, they'll be doing a 1,000-point LOTRO point giveaway. Just thought I'd mention that since I don't have anything interesting of my own to say. Sans, what did you do this week?
Well, this week, on Friday, I ran the Inn of the Forsaken on the field trip before skating with play. And it was pretty cool. I think I was in once before, when I first started playing, but going through kind of knowing how to play the game and having voice chat helped a lot. Thanks, Terry. And yeah, it was cool. And I had fun. I hope the guys who were brave enough to take me through had fun too.
Well,
but,
it went pretty well, I think.
I think it went pretty well, and we needed a hunter, a burglar, a captain, but as I keep saying on Fridays, we need a hunter. I should fix that sometime. Yeah, then I graded with Ploy, and that was a lot of fun. But, like Maven said, Gondaman really felt like it just went on and on and on and on in a blur of fuzzy white haziness and blue names and lag for me.
Oh, yeah. I think maybe the real problem with the Gondaman thing is right now I find that currently grading at tier 3 is a bit of a chore simply because of the mob bump that they did.
That could have been part of it. I mean, it didn't feel like things were lasting forever, like the mobs themselves, individually. But I couldn't actually see them, so I don't know if that's really true or if that's just how I felt about it.
For me, it was just endless.
It was just like endless poking the buttons over and over and over again to shoot things that I couldn't see. You kind of... Did you want to add to that, Maven?
Nope. That was good.
I think I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Nope, you didn't. That was good.
And then I went roving threat hunting with Elsariel and Fendelrod on my newly upgraded high health. And it was kind of fun because they hadn't been roving threat hunting before. And, yeah, so I got to hang out with them and go roving threat hunting. And, while they might not have been roving threat hunting before, they're much better at finding their way. There's a reason that almost all my alts have an easily lost title. And I found a treasure cache accidentally trying to guide them through the Misty Mountains. I was feeling like, guys, you might not have been roving threat hunting, but you know the map better than I do, and you can get places. So this is where we're headed. Can you get us there? And that worked out real well. And one of the guys in the Misty Mountains got me, but it was weird because it came up almost as though I had died from falling off a cliff or something, even though he hadn't punted me or anything, and there was no like revive for free option. So that was kind of sad. I think we all ended up retreating on that one. But yeah, we went to the North Downs and conquered the North Downs too, except for the few problems like with the dragon with the deadly breath, but it went really well. And I've got my new first stage sword for that character too, so that was fun, and I still like roving threat hunting, even though they're not red dots anymore and they don't kill me by looking at me. Which are odd things to miss, I know. And then I had fun going through Thorzoth with Maven and dressing up like a little orc, and I think we completed some quests and did some fighting, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. And then I tried taking Cinders through with Kindleaf, and Cinders was not a happy lore master, and it wasn't quite as much fun the second time. But I'm looking forward to a third trip through with Terry, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun to hear her reactions. So that was my week. How was your week, Pine?
All right, I will begin on what is one, Crick Hollow. There on my Warden, I finally got around to unlocking the Mordor dailies. And therefore, I ran through 2 rounds of those. But in unlocking them, I had this one point where I decided that if I was going to know exactly what I needed to do, I resorted to bringing up Squirrel's Guide. And then I finished everything on there, made sure, okay, I've got everything nice and done, and saying, all right, where's the quest? Where's it tell me that they're unlocked? And then a footnote on Squirrel's Guide. You may need to log out and log back in order to... Logged out, log back in. Thank you, Squirrel! Yes, because that did it. And so therefore, I was able to go and run those. And I find that those resource instances are nasty. I don't know if
It depends on which one, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
Linger.
I'm sorry. I caught
them.
I caught two words from you and all that.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, I seem to be my internet's being weird. The Lingris and the Durthang aren't so bad. But the other two, Barad-dûr and Burning Mountain, can be a real pain.
I have not done Burning Mountain yet, but I have done Red Sky, and that one was brutal.
Oh, is that the one up in Agronite? I can't remember.
Yeah, in Agronite.
Yeah, with the Wozes, yeah.
Yeah.
That one actually, when you get used to it and kind of like get the hang of it, it's not terrible. It's not my favorite one.
Yeah,
Fighter one is probably the easiest.
I find fighting against two Marival at a time, two signature Marival at a time, and they're constantly spamming those stuns of theirs and all that.
Yeah, they stun.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I found that's the only one where I've managed to get defeated in was going against that one because they're really, really nasty. But yes,
the Burning Mountain and the Burning Mountain one is all Marvel all the time.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, Morval and bats, which the bats also stun too, and that's a pain. Sorry, I shouldn't have told you.
Maybe I'll skip that one. But anyway, I've gotten my way. I've got 5 out of 6 parts. It looks like that there are going to be 6 parts of the 6 chapters to the Hobbit story or something like that. But I've got 5/6 of the way through the Hobbit track on that, and I'm hoping to finish that maybe this week. And I'm starting to get my armor upgraded to a halfway decent level. I don't think it's ever going to get to anything raid worthy or anything like that, but getting something I'm at least able to survive. Maybe someday I could have no trouble at Red Sky. So therefore,
there you go.
That's what we have there. Then on my Lore Master, I was dealing with a rather nasty dwarf that seemed to be controlled by some sort of spirit. Our favorite person to hate all through the first part of the game, through the first 40 levels. And then on the field trip, as I said, I joined Sans with the Inn of the Forsaken. And it was interesting trying to do this with someone with a group, so we didn't have someone who absolutely knew the thing or anything like this. So we were trying to go back from our old memories and dredging them up and stuff like that. But the emotes, I remember I actually managed to figure out all the emotes that were being in there, which was a bit of a surprise.
That was helpful. Very helpful.
Yeah, that was helpful on that. So I was trying to say, okay, tell me, because I think one of the other members, just in case I got lost, did bring up the website, I think, too.
Yeah, I don't know if he brought it up or he was going to bring it up.
Or if he was going to, right, because I said, no, I want to try it first. So that worked on there. And then on Landravul, we were going to Nirban and Thorzaf, and oh boy, that was a real fun one. As I said, this was with Cinders and
My
Sand.
Runekeeper. Yeah.
Right.
My very squishy Runekeeper, even after I tried really hard to upgrade her.
Yeah, so we had this final instance in Nirban where it was, we had 3 people there. All right, so who goes together and who solos? I says, well, I've soloed it on a Warden before, so I have some hope of soloing it. And I figured those 2 would need each other in order to do it. Actually, it sounded like it might have been a possibility that they would have, if they weren't doing it at the same time, they probably would have both asked me to join them in it.
Probably.
Because, yes, that one can be brutal to cloth wearers on a couple of occasions. And I'm sure that you don't want to speak that name in front of Cinders in any time soon this week.
Yeah.
Then let's head in and see what's news beyond the LOTRO, where Amazon has its eye set on the Lord of the Rings television show, or more, I suspect, more like is it a television show or is it more of a streaming show?
Well, Amazon does
Amazon.
shows like Netflix, so there's shows.
Yeah,
It's like
so I presume, but the TV implies, I guess, because when I hear the word
Yeah.
TV, I still think of
be episodic. It'd be an episodic show.
an episodic adventure, episodic series.
My
on
Film
Prime,
Film
yeah.
co-host Dave Kale tweeted out, "We already have one for you. If you just give us a call."
Well, that's if
Because the
they ever,
Silmarillion film project's into season 3 already.
well, right now they're only looking at the Lord of the Rings.
But the article actually ends saying, "Well, will we get to see the Silmarillion?"
Well, I have a feeling we should not hold our breath on that matter.
No,
And
I
probably
can't imagine how that could be done.
let's put it this way, if they could do the Lord of the Rings in such a way that the Tolkien estate loves it, I know, don't hold your breath for that happening in any way whatsoever.
The other interesting thing is that Christopher Tolkien actually is in conversation, which I thought was
He is
pretty
in conversation too. Yeah, so he is probably going to have someone keep an eye on it or something like that. But yes, so we'll see how that works out and probably determine what the limits are and what rules they have and stuff like this, and see how they can do it. Because there are some things I think that you can do on a television series that you can't do in the films, because in the films, I know Peter Jackson, he had, is it 4 hours for the extended versions?
Gosh, was it?
Or I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think
because
you're
the
right. I
article
think it
was about 3
Sounds about
hours.
right.
Yeah, so about 4 hours for these extended versions, and even that is a bit short on time in order to do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
Though, if you listen to Corey, he's saying that one of the reasons he's happy that Jackson didn't attempt to do Tom Bombadil wasn't just because of time constraints, but also because he says, let's face it, trying to do Tom Bombadil on screen without him looking completely stupid would be the ultimate challenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I think you could actually do that in a TV show.
You could do it time-wise, but but can you pull off Tom Bombadil without him looking really stupid?
I don't know.
I guess
I
if
think
you
it
show
probably
enough
could
of
be
his.
done.
What?
Yeah.
It'll be a challenge at the very least. That's all. But we'll see if they're up to
They
it.
said no details, so I think a lot depends on who's writing, who's directing. We'll see.
Oh, of course.
It's going to be interesting.
And that will be something for another day.
So stay tuned, LOTRO Players News listeners.
We currently have 23 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO Players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, and LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Ariandes at Ariandes, Maven at Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Sanswinda at Sanswinda, and Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin. The Players Alliance currently has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.